I do want to get to, Zach, your article. It's up on ESPN.com right now on Deandre Ayton. And I love sort of the in-depth that you go here. You're talking about his development as an NBA player from his rookie year to now, how his presence is felt, especially on the defensive end in these finals. And in fact, you can take a look. The Suns plus-minus this series, plus 20 when Deandre Ayton is on the court and Giannis is not. It is, of course, the opposite. Giannis on and Ayton off, while the Suns are a minus 21. So, Zach, we saw, and we talked about a lot on the show the last 2 days, the foul trouble Ayton got in Game 3 and how that impacted the series. What do you think that Ayton can do as we go forward here besides just don't get the whistle?
I think he just continues to do what he does. I mean, he needs to impact the game on both ends. We saw him. He was beasting switches in the post and getting quick duck-ins and rolling hard to the rim. And he's gotten a ton of credit for that on offense and all the sacrifice. But it's the stuff on this end that, to me, really stands out. Look how he manipulates Drew Holiday, kind of jabs at him, then baits him into that pass and intercepts it. He's manipulating people now in pick-and-roll defense. That is surprising this soon in his career. Here's another one. Drew gets some daylight here. Look, he stays right in between, plays that cat-and-mouse game, disrupts that layup. This is super advanced stuff for a guy who's still just 22, and it helps to be really freaking big. I mean, what comes up here, this isn't anything fancy. This is just Deandre Ayton being big and say, I'll take that, thank you, let's go back the other way. And to me, that jump that he's made on defense, the offense, that's all cool. Phoenix is not sniffing a championship if their center is not a really good defensive player anchoring what has been one of the 5 best defenses in the NBA all season, and he needs a lot of love for what he's done on that end of the floor.
And I talked about it, and I agree with Zach. I talked about it at the beginning of the series that I think that if you look at the best players in this series, it would be Giannis 1, Chris Paul 2, Devin Booker, and then Deandre Ayton. I think that those 3, and when you look at DeAndre's impact, if he's not doing what he does, it's going to be very, very hard for the Phoenix Suns to win because he impacts the game on both ends of the floor. Not like Giannis does. Obviously, Giannis is the MVP and Defensive Player of the Year, but he has that same type of impact where he is affecting shots. He is making it more difficult for Giannis. And on the other hand, his ability to roll, great hands, lobs, posting up smaller players because they don't have a lot of depth at the size with Saric. So it gives him an advantage on the post-up, especially when Giannis is out. So I think, like, to Zach's point, he's just got to continue doing what he does.
You know what? We already knew that he was so skilled. We knew he was talented. But what I'm witnessing, especially throughout the playoffs and now in the finals, is that he's finally playing like a dog, right? The killer has come out of him. And I saw a couple of clips where Zach was talking about how smart he was in the pick and roll. That comes from actually studying film. That's sitting down and watching film. When you do those little stabs at Chris Paul and have him, or Drew Holiday, have him second guessing whether you're going to step up or not, that's film study. So now he's becoming a true student of the game. And I'm just giving you that from experience from a guy that anchored the defense for 10 plus years in the NBA and was a specialty at it.
Well, I think it's also a good example. I think it's also a good example, too, that especially big men in this league need a minute to develop because Deandre Ayton got a lot of criticism his rookie year, right, especially on the defensive side of the ball, right? And here Zach is doing a detailed breakdown of how great he is on the defensive side of the ball. So I don't know how the James Wiseman experiment is going to end up going in Golden State or anything else, but I would just say that we don't know right now because you didn't know for sure about Deandre Ayton in year 1, and now we can see now that he's had this time to learn and progress, and he's applied himself. It's made such a huge difference. Zach, I don't think when Dario Saric went down with that ACL tear, it got quite enough play. But when we look at the center position and when we look at what Giannis does as he goes inside, remember, 100% of the points he scored off the floor in Game 3 were from within 5 feet of the basket. What can the Suns do to sustain and withstand that Giannis onslaught? Because Ayton, even if he doesn't get into foul trouble, can't be on the court 100% of the time. And with Dario now out for the series, how do you see that going down?
First of all, Perk's going to like this. Shout out Mark Bryant for the work he's done helping Deandre Ayton on both ends of the floor. One of the great assistant coaches in the league with big men. Look, they might need Deandre Ayton to play 40, 41 minutes. He's done it before. I mean, it may just be that simple. Stay out of foul trouble. Maybe you shift him off Giannis here and there to give Jay Crowder that assignment just to protect him from foul trouble. But they may need to just minimize the non-Ayton minutes to 7, 8 a game and hope you can tread water in those minutes. And it's not just Sarge. Remember, Torrey Craig got banged up from taking that charge on Giannis. The Suns are getting thin. The more thin they get, the longer the series goes. The more I worry about is Chris Paul going to wear down a little bit. Who can withstand the minutes load? And both teams are pretty thin. I mean, I'm kind of glad they have these 2-day gaps between games, get everybody rested and ready to go. But yeah, those minutes when Ayton is on the bench, you better believe Giannis feels the difference between a 7-footer being out there and no 7-footer I got to worry about being out there.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.